Hey, what's up, everybody? So good to see you again. And today we're going to be talking about the breaking news of the OpenAI device. And so, guess what happens when the guy who gave the world the iPhone shakes hands with the man behind ChatGPT? If you guessed correctly, you would be thinking it ends in a $6.5 billion stock swap, a brand new kind of gadget, and a slap that Apple and Google can both feel. So stick around because this might be the moment our screens lose top billing. So here is the ride in three quick bites. The Blockbuster buyout, why OpenAI just swallowed Johnny Ive's secret startup, the mystery machine, everything known, and the rumors about their screen-free companion, and the fallout and the upside. Who wins, who panics, and why 100 million units is the magic number. So, first, we're going to talk about the richest brain merge in AI history. On May 21st, OpenAI said it will acquire I/O, the stealth hardware shop co founded by legendary Apple designer Johnny Ive, in an all stock deal worth $6.5 billion. 5 billion covers fresh equity, the rest folds in a 20% stake OpenAI grabbed last year. When the paperwork clears this summer, about 55 engineers, product minds, and manufacturing pros walk through OpenAI's front door. Most of them are coming from Apple. And in one stroke, Sam Altman goes from AI software guy to we build devices too. Wall Street also has noticed Apple shares dipped over 2% that afternoon, their sharpest single day slide in weeks. So that was on May 21st. And consider the talent math. Apple spent 3 decades shaping Ive's instincts. Altman bought them in one afternoon. If design DNA holds value, OpenAI just pulled off a legal heist. But why equity, not cash? Because OpenAI is still burning money, lots of it, and Altman would rather hand out potential upside than drain the war chest. The bet is that they're going to turn Ive powered hardware into $1 trillion boost to the company's valuation by decade's end. It's bold, sure, but so was charging 99 cents a song on iTunes back in 2003. And Ive's second act in a new design family. For Johnny Ive, this is a full throttle return to consumer tech. Johnny Ive left Apple in 2019 and formed the design collective called Love From, and quickly and quietly sketched future toys with ex colleagues. Now he calls Altman a rare visionary and says everything he has learned in 30 years led to this moment. That language matters. Jobs once labeled Ive his spiritual partner. If that spirit shifts to OpenAI, Apple loses more than just a star employee, it loses part of its myths. Ives co-founder at IO read like an Apple All-Star roster. Tang Tan, he's the iPhone and watch hardware specialist. Evans Hankey is Ives' own successor as design chief at Apple. And Scott Cannon, mailbox app fame, which is what he's known for. And then you add the longtime software savants Bas Ording and Mike Matas, people who literally invented iOS gestures. And you've got an in-house studio capable of end-to-end magic from silicon layouts to the satisfying click of a side button. Think of IO, the device of the building, as mini Apple, minus the corporate drag. It will stay in its current San Francisco loft, but payroll now comes from OpenAI. Ive's broader love from consultancy keeps side clients like Ferrari and Airbnb, yet puts new projects on pause. Translation: every waking hour now funnels into Sam Altman's dream. So, what exactly is this thing? There have been some leaked specs that paint the device smaller than a deck of cards. No display, bristling with cameras and microphones, and meant to hang around your neck or park quietly on a desk. Picture an iPod shuffle that can see, listen, and talk. All heavy lifting happens in the cloud or on your phone and laptop. The puck itself is mostly sensors and a brainstem. The product team calls it an AI companion, not a phone, not glasses, and definitely not Humane's floppish AI pin. In fact, I've publicly slammed that pin as a very poor product. Early vendor talks point to Vietnam for assembly, partly to dodge US China trade crossfire, partly because Vietnamese factories already build AirPods and top tier smartphones. Mass production is penciled for 2027. But Altman claims an initial consumer launch by late 2026 if parts arrive on time. The long term goal is to ship 100 million units faster than any company in history. For scale, the original iPhone needed about 4 years to clear that bar. And what's the use cases? Sam Altman hints at a full awareness of your life. Think hands free calendar nudges, context aware search, reminders whispered through your earbuds, maybe even real time translation or nutrition tips mid meal. The point is to move beyond typing prompts and staring at glass rectangles, as Ive puts it. People will connect with AI in very new ways. So, next, we're going to talk about the timing, the optics, and the Google factor. So, why did they drop the news 1 week after Google I/O hijacked every tech headline? Simple: momentum, judo. Google just paraded AI helpers in Gmail, Android, and Maps. Apple's WWDC is around the corner, and its own AI story looks anemic. By revealing a hardware moonshot with Apple's X design Pope, Johnny Ives, OpenAI commandeers the narrative and recasts the race. It's not about smarter autocomplete, it's about physical AI that meets you off screen. There's a classic Alan Kay line: people who are really serious about software should make their own hardware. Altman just turned that quote into a company policy. And by using stock instead of cash, he signals to investors, we are in land grab mode. Get on board or miss the next iPhone moment. Okay, so now we need to talk about the supply chains, the cash burns, and 44 billion reasons why they might have to sweat a little bit. So, grand ideas die in factories. OpenAI already forecasts $44 billion in losses through 2028 before it expects a dime of profit. Hardware carries brutal margins, certification gauntlets, and recalls that can nuke a brand overnight. Setting up a screenless gadget may dodge display shortages, but cameras and microarrays still need tight tolerances. Add global privacy laws, Europe's DMA, California's CPRA, and you get a compliance maze for always listening tech. Altman knows that stealth is key. He told staff that leaking specs early would give giants time to copy or undercut. Yet you cannot hide forever when you are telling suppliers to tool up for 9-digit volumes. Expect spy shot leaks by next spring, followed by the next usual teardown blogs. And what about the financing? OpenAI's $300 billion valuation makes new equity cheap today. But if interest rates stay high and AI excitement cools, raising more billions for factories could sting. Investors like Thrive Capital and A16Z are in, but they will want proof of traction long before the 100 millionth box rolls off a line. So next, we're going to talk about the winners, the losers, and the wild cards. First of all, Apple feels the pinch. Its former design soul now builds a rival platform, and its stock already tasted the pain. Google might pivot harder into its Pixel hardware to head off the companion threat. Meta owns a moderate hit with Ray-Ban smart glasses, yet faces a sensor-rich pendant that isn't tethered to Instagram. Meanwhile, Vietnamese EMS giants, Foxconn's local ops, Luxshare, or Goretech could score billion-dollar contracts. Wildcards: regulatory backlash on constant recording, open source AI catching up, and eroding OpenAI's secret sauce, or consumer apathy if the gadget feels creepy. Remember, most people did not race to buy smart speakers until Amazon slashed prices to near cost. Yep. So why this could still change everything? Because success hinges on the user experience. If Ivan Altman nailed the talk and act flow, no menus, no lag, people might adopt the pendant as casually as AirPods. And once an AI lives that close to you, it becomes the first hop for data, search, and maybe even payments. OpenAI would not just own a service, it would own a choke point. Tech history loves such choke points. Microsoft with Windows, Apple with iOS, and Nvidia with CUDA. Each unlocked a tidal wave of follow-on revenue. Altman is betting the companion device is the next great gatekeeper. Miss, and it's an expensive footnote. Hit, and it rewrites how billions meet AI. The bottom line is OpenAI just welded a world-class design studio to a world-class language model. If they land this plane, your next must-have gadget might not have a screen, but it will know your schedule, your tone of voice, and maybe the color of your dog's eyes. Are you ready for that? If this blew your mind, please smash the like button, hit subscribe, and tell me below, would you invite a screenless AI badge into your daily life, or is that still one sci-fi step too far? Again, if you like this video, please comment below and answer this question. Would you invite a screenless AI badge into your daily life, or is that still one sci-fi step too far?